the fact that I don't ever have to worry about that. Regardless of whether I know them or I don't know them, I'm gonna support and fight for the right project.
Mayor, many thought the Walmart would have been a great idea, and that perhaps you all listened too much to lobbyists here. How do you assuage any concern that you, as mayor, perhaps are unduly influenced, as any politician can be anywhere, by lobbyists?
Wow. The people who cried out against Walmart were the residents of the South End. It wasn't the lobbyists, had nothing to do with lobbyists. The residents told us they did not want a Walmart there, they did not want a grocery store there. We looked at the property, we felt it was a good investment for the city. I still feel it's a good investment for the city. And shortly, in the next month or so, we're gonna start a whole visioning process for that area and start getting input from the community as to what they'd like to see happen there and in other places around there. So I think that we, Commissioner Mitchell and I, and the other people on the commission, listened to what the community was telling us, not what Richard Pinsky said.
One question, digital domain, which you brought up earlier, it's a question that was posed as much for you, Commissioner, but I'll put it to both of you. And since it's the mayor's turn, question about digital domain deal. You were quoted, or at least some said you were quoted, saying you would do that deal over again had you had it to do it. Incorrect?
How you did say that, though.
All right, well, let's begin then with the digital domain deal, which I think ended up costing the city on the order of about $2 million, correct? And so, Mayor, your take on that, and then Commissioner, your response to the claims that you'd said to do it over again, you would. First you, Mayor.
Yeah, well, digital domain was done before I became mayor. It was one of the projects that Commissioner Mitchell spearheaded for her friend John Texter. And it fell apart. $2 million was paid to develop a curriculum. Fortunately, we wrote in a reverter clause so that when it fell apart, I and our attorneys could go to bankruptcy court and fight to get that land back. We had to fight to get that land back, but we were lucky that the reverter clause was in there. This was it was a failed project, and actually I did hear Commissioner Mitchell say she would do it over again.
Commissioner?
Well, that's out of context. I didn't say I would do that over again. What I said is, we are always, and we had this conversation, we had meetings with the Palm Beach Post, we had scores of meetings with community, with the Chamber of Commerce, with education, public and private, with residents. Everybody agreed. We knew we were gonna take a risk, and we knew we were gonna make an investment. And I guess I get partial credit and then I guess partial blame for what happened, but this is what happened. It was a good idea, was not a friend of mine. I knew who he was growing up. I had a crush on his brother, truth be told, when I was like 12, but I didn't know him. So here's the thing, a great opportunity that everybody, including Mayor Muoio, supported. I was the same commissioner as she was, but she just said something important. We put a reverter clause, and this was Lois Frankel. Again, I'm not the mayor. I was supportive of the project. I was excited about the project because what it could mean for the city of West Palm. When one of the wheels fell off, it had nothing to do with us. Our investment was for Florida State University. Digital domain gets all the snazz and all the excitement, but it was about investing in Florida State University. The board of directors at FSU wanted to remain here. We had students already here, so that was a heartbreak and a loss for the city of West Palm, but it had nothing to do with me, and it really had nothing to do with the mayor.
Thank you very much. We're coming into relatively our final time. Gentlemen, I'm going to go to the candidate question. Why don't we have candidates pose a question, and if perhaps you and your organizers want to find 2 or 3 people, that's of course your call, who might want to ask questions from the audience. Okay. That's fine. We'll do that. So some of you may have questions. You'll be able to answer them directly. But this is a chance for, and we'll begin with you, Commissioner. You have 30 seconds to ask the question that's burning on your mind for the mayor, and the mayor will have the same chance. The response will be a strict 45 seconds. Commissioner, your question for the mayor, please.
Okay. 2 weeks ago, when you called the hastily meeting to amend the boundaries of our water catchment area, I asked the question then, and I still have not gotten the answer. I wanted to see a legal opinion that said, by changing the boundaries, would we be doing anything that jeopardized our fight against State Road 7? And I asked you to have the city attorney, who couldn't give us that answer that night, or any of the other attorneys that you have hired to help us in that fight, and I'm still waiting for it. Do you have that letter?
Your 45-second response.
I don't have a letter for you, but I do have an opinion, and the opinion is that no, it wouldn't. Secondly, we have built into a term sheet, I thought I had it right here, but we have built into a term sheet with the county that there would be no tinkering with State Road 7 related to this. Should there be any tinkering on the part of the county commission has agreed not to. 5 of the county commissioners support my candidacy. They're not gonna mess around with this. They've agreed not to do it. They've agreed that it's not gonna have any influence on State Road 7, and it's in the term sheet.
And your question, 30 seconds, please, to the commissioner.
Were you employed by receiving income from Loop Capital in 2013 and 2014? And if you were, why did you not indicate that on your qualification disclosure form that you filed with the city clerk, that you were employed there?
Yes, I've been employed, I was until December, by Loop Capital Markets since 2003, and if I didn't,
There's nothing on your disclosure form.
Response, please.
right, if I didn't, it was an oversight. It's the same firm like I said, that I've worked for in the same capacity since 2003.
Gentlemen, do you prefer to have the candidates do another round? Or yes, why don't we do that? The organizers would like the candidates, if they so choose, to ask another round of questions. This time, we will begin with the mayor and the commissioner's response, and then the other way around. So again, a 30-second question, please, Mayor, to the commissioner.
Today at 5 p.m. you submitted your recent campaign report showing you raised $64,000 with 114 donors. My report showed I had 175 scores. Most were small donations, and 70% were from West Palm Beach. Your money, 68% of it, mainly from outside the city, including special interests and lobbyists from places like Tallahassee, Palm Beach, and Coral Gables. How can you claim that you have local support when you have no endorsements and your money is from outside groups?
Commissioner, 45 seconds, please.
Well, I think I said it when I first ran in 2002, and it's the exact same thing I'm going through now. When you run against an incumbent, it's hard. In 2002, I did not receive any endorsements, not the chamber, not the Post, not any of the unions. What I did is I raised money from the places that I had friends who wanted to support my candidacy, and I got the votes of the people. And this is the exact same thing. This is how it works in politics. It's unfortunate. But the people that you talk about as special interest, if you're talking about my brother, yeah, he is my special interest, but he's not a special interest in West Palm Beach.
Commissioner, your question, 30 seconds to the mayor.
What do I want in this one? What I'd like to know is, why you could stand before the city in so many meetings and talk about the importance of education and changing the outcomes for so many of our children in the north end of the city. We have families that are so poor they have no other choice but to send their kids to failing schools. And I was willing to step up and say, we can do better. And you said you supported it, and then it got testy. The League of Women Voters didn't like it, and a couple of county commissioners didn't like it. And instead of saying, you know, let's sit down and figure out the way that we can gain support, you just cut the cord. You cut the cord.
School.
Yeah.
Is that?
Well,
Your 30 seconds is up.
Okay.
45-second response, please.
Yes, you know, as many of you know, I spent 25 years in public education. I'm an educator. I have a PhD in education leadership. Educating students means a lot to me. I believe that there are some good charter schools and some bad charter schools. I believe that there are many good public schools and some not so good public schools. Charter school was not right for our city. We looked at it, we realized that it just wasn't going to happen. And what we've done now is we've reached out to the school district, and we're going to work with them in a special partnership. We're calling it Partnership School. We're gonna start with one public school. Time's up, I'm sorry.
Do we have audience questions? Sure. Please raise your hands. Come forward and we will hold as well. This gentleman will go as I see the hands come up. 30 seconds, sir, and you'll be timed as well. Actually, this gentleman was first, right here. This gentleman was first. Let's do it in order, and then you'll be right behind him, sir. 30 seconds, please, and we'll be timing you, and then they'll both have a chance to respond to your question. Question, not comment, 45-second response. Thank you, sir. Your name, please.
Jeri, I'm a businessman in West Palm. My question is to the mayor. She told all of us that she has been everywhere. I've been a businessman on Dixie for 20 years. I have never seen her on Dixie.
Mayor, your response, and then the commissioner's counter response, Mayor.
I'm not sure what the question is.
That you say you've been everywhere. He has a business on Dixie for 20 years, said he's never seen you there.
Well, I have been everywhere. I haven't been in every store and every shop, but I am in the neighborhoods. I am at every meeting. I attend all of the meetings that the police have. I attend all of the meetings that the community has. I cut 1,000,000 ribbons. Nobody in this room will ever doubt the hard work that I do for the city, and I'm proud of that.
Commissioner?
Well, remember, for the last 13 years, I've served as a city commissioner, but I've also had a full-time job and a family that I love at both my job and my family. And I have been very dedicated to making sure that I'm in the places where I can do the most help in the city. As a mayor, though, the people that are the businesses, like Uzel, that do that work, that keep the end, that don't ask anything from the city, those are the faces and those are the people that we have to spend time talking to, not inviting them to our meetings. They're busy. They're creating jobs, they're keeping jobs, they're keeping their kids in college. It really is incumbent, and I'll tell you who's really good at it, is Commissioner Materia.
Commissioner, thank you for concluding. Our next questioner, please stand and say your name and your question, sir.
Yes, my name is Ron Johnson. I live in the south end of West Palm Beach. And the water system we have, we're spending $37 million to do what I'm not sure of. And I'm actually campaigning for one of the candidates, and I'm still not sure. I think because we need a meeting, and how can we get this meeting where the public is involved in it? Because from what I heard, the water system is like 100 years old. I'm not sure if it is or not, but I know the bills are ridiculous. How do we solve this to where the bills aren't so out of hand and a water system would actually work? Because if we're spending this kind of money and this thing is this old, to me it seems kind of ridiculous. But I don't know if it's ridiculous or not because we haven't had a discussion about this.
Commissioner, 45 seconds, then the mayor.
You know what? That is such a good question. What we should have been doing, instead of calling a special meeting at 9:30 in the morning on a Monday at 9:30 in the morning when none of the public knew about it, none of the public were there to listen to what the actual options were. The commission didn't. Mayor Muoio continues to think that I supported one solution, and she's wrong. She doesn't know me, she never asked me. She's assuming that. I didn't support one solution. We have a 120-year-old system. We have patchworked it over the years. When we had poop in the water, E. coli in the water, we patched it. When we had a drought, we patched it.
Commissioner, thank you. Mayor, 45 seconds to the gentleman's question and concern.
Well, first of all, we don't have a 100-year-old water system. We have a water system that is going to be state-of-the-art with this new UV protection. We've been talking about water treatment for 7 years. So if you needed to have information, there were 7 years of opportunity to talk about the water system. We had to come to a decision on it because the health department told us we needed to get it done by 2018, a new water treatment plant. We are going to put in a new water treatment system into the existing plant that will be state-of-the-art. And it's being used by New York City, it's being used by Los Angeles. It will be state-of-the-art. It will meet the requirements of
Mayor.
the health department.
Thank you. Our microphone, here we are.
Well, is there anybody else from this end of the room with a question? Okay. Yeah.
Well, and then it'll be this gentleman after that, the gentleman and the lady.
Yeah, my name is Len Levy, and I want to know how all aboard Florida is going to help the city at all. I've seen you give away property, taxes, and tax abatement. We don't even know if it's wanted yet.
Mayor, 45 seconds, please.
Sure. I'm a supporter of All Aboard Florida, but unlike my opponent, I am going to play hardball in terms of what we want to get out of this. I think All Aboard Florida in the long run is going to be good for our city. It's going to bring people from Miami and Orlando into our city. It's going to allow business people who want to have a satellite, have a business in Miami, want to have a satellite in West Palm, to be able to do that, and vice versa. However, there are some things that I want to see happen. We need a feeder road. We need architecture that's open so that people can get across on Quadrille. They've closed off 2 of our streets, and they have the right to do that because it's their right of way.
Mayor, thank you very much. Commissioner, 45 seconds.
All Aboard Florida is a phenomenal project, and it is being financed wholly by the private sector. It is not government paying for any of it. In fact, one of the upsides that we get, not only being connected to Orlando, Fort Lauderdale, and Miami, that's just the first leg. Eventually, it's going to go to Jacksonville, and eventually, they're going to have it go from Orlando to Tampa. But what's even more exciting than that is the local rail that's going to be, where we have Tri-Rail now, we're going to have local train. This is for the future, folks. This is going to be exciting for you and for me. I'm 53, but it's really about what the future is going to look like, and we're a part of it right now.
Thank you very much. The organizers, I had 2 raise their hands, but the organizers, you would like to conclude at this point? I follow the organizers' lead here. I have a final 2 people, but does everybody, can they forbear with 2 more questioners, please? Everybody's shaking their, what a polite, wonderful audience here. I wish every audience was so engaged and thoughtful. We'll finish with the gentleman and then the lady. Announce your name, sir.
John.
Thank you, sir. 30 seconds, please.
John Mike, and I'm an original out here too. Kimberly, you alluded to your beginning of your political career, and I'm an original with CityWatch also. And the primary issue for us then was not getting city services necessarily inside the gates. It was the double taxation, Northern Improvement District, paying for our own water and sewer pipes and maintaining them. Now there are new communities that have come out here, and they are not being charged the maintenance fee that all of us are paying on these water and sewer pipes to Northern. Why are we paying for water and sewer pipes that other people who are more recent out here than us are getting for free?
Commissioner, 45 seconds, then the mayor.
I agree with you, John, 100%, and I do know that Len Fincy had that same question recently when the legal department of the city said, and we're talking about the underground pipes, no, we can't pay, the city can't pay to maintain those pipes. And to that, he said, what do you mean you can't pay to maintain these? Well, they're your pipes. Well, okay, then we're gonna charge you money, you're charging us money to give us water through pipes that we're paying for. What if we turned it around and said to you, we're gonna charge you to use the pipes that we're paying for to provide us water?
Mayor, 45 seconds, please.
Well, actually, that's not accurate. I sent a letter. Actually, there was a break in Riverwalk. We came out right away, fixed it up. I sent a letter to Mr. Fincy saying that we will continue to take responsibility for the underground pipes in all of the gated communities. So what you've said is inaccurate.
Our final questioner, ma'am, please, the microphone for the young lady. And the final questioner of the night, thank you.
My question is about the UV. At what cost, and will we be stuck with the tab for the UV for the water treatment? And did we vote? Was there a vote for that UV?
Mayor?
The UV will cost $26 million, which will be paid for out of reserves. There will be no increase in your water bill as a result. And the people who you elected to represent you voted for it to pass, yes.
Commissioner?
Well, I think I made my point earlier. That was a big decision. It wasn't just a big financial decision, but it was like 100-year decision about, do we make this investment in keeping it where it is, like it is, or do we look at other alternatives? I chose, and I still believe we should be looking at other alternatives. It's not a bad response. Is it the finest? No, it's not. We are retrofitting an existing facility. That's what they do when they use the UV system. It takes out some of it, but it isn't going to be effective in the future. We don't know what the future is gonna hold, which is gonna require us to come back, and it won't be cheap, to make improvements again to the system.